Well, good morning. Any visitors this morning? From where? North Carolina? Whereabouts? What's that? Hendersonville. Where are you guys from? Ohio? Virginia? Denver? Anybody else? Okay, well, welcome to all of you, and we're happy that you're all here. Now, when we came this morning and we announced that the Mass today in the church worldwide is called the Feast of the Dedication of the Basilica of St. John Lateran. Try saying that. Okay? Now, what the heck's this all about? Why would we suspend the Sunday celebration to celebrate a feast called the Dedication of the Basilica of St. John Lateran? And who the heck was St. John Lateran? And so that's why I'm here. Okay? First of all, there is no St. John Lateran. There is no person by that name. This feast day refers to what is called the Basilica of St. John at the Lateran. And the Lateran was named after the people who donated the land, the Lateran family. And so historically, this church in Rome has become known as St. John Lateran because it's on the Lateran Hill, which was named after the people who donated the land. Now, why is this so special? Well, it's so special because the Lateran was, in fact, the seat of the papacy. It was the Vatican, if you will, until 1303. Okay? So for 1300 years, the popes reigned and ruled from St. John Lateran. There was no St. Peter's. You know, we kind of think that things are static, and there's always been a St. Peter's. Well, there wasn't. And so for the first 1300 years, this is where the pope was. And many of the early councils, which were called the Lateran councils, were held here at this place. It is also the Pope, besides being the Pope, has another job. And his other job is the Bishop of Rome. So just as Bishop Zubik is the Bishop of the city of Pittsburgh and its surroundings, so the Pope is also the Bishop of Rome. Well, St. John Lateran, that building, is his cathedral. St. Peter's is not a cathedral. Can only have a cathedral if there's a bishop sitting there, okay? St. Peter's in Rome is not the cathedral, and it's not even in the same country as Rome. Vatican City is a separate country. So, you see why we're celebrating this? Because it was the first seat of the papacy, the first seat of the bishops, and it is still to this day the cathedral church of the city of Rome. So we have this curious situation where when people ask about what's the symbol of the universal church, they think of St. Peter's Basilica, and that's true. But that's where the Pope sits as Pope. But as Bishop of Rome, he sits at St. John's. Okay? Now, in the scripture today, especially in the first scripture, which is from the book of Ezekiel, we see some allegorical language in there that speaks to us about the purpose of a temple, the purpose of a church. And in that reading, it says that water will flow from the temple. Now, anytime water is used in the scripture, what's the code? What's it mean? Grace. Water means grace. And what is grace? Grace is the gratuitous love of God for us, his free will offering of love to us. And so anytime the word water is used, think grace, think God's love. So in the scripture today, when it says that the water will flow from the temple and all these marvelous things will happen, it says that the salt water will become sweet and things will grow and fruit will be produced and life will be changed. The purpose of that reading, or the message in that reading, is that when we come to a holy place, when we come to a place of prayer, when we come to a place where we are reminded of God's love, things change. Here in our little basilica, which is, by the way, about the size of the sacristy at St. John Lateran, but here in it's all relative, you know. When we come here to this holy place, something should happen. It should, in fact, be a holy place. It should be treated as a holy place. It should be seen as a holy place. And we need to come here, and, you know, I'm always amazed. The church is open every day. I'm always amazed at the number of people who come here every day, quietly, for prayer. They come here. Why? They come here because of their anxiety. They come here because of their fear. They come here because of their confusion. They come here to experience God's grace. So they bring the salt water of their fear and their anxiety here so that it can be transformed into sweet water. They come here burdened, and those burdens then are lifted. They come here, as you all do, weak and tired and confused and lonely, sleepy, all to have their lives transformed by grace. As you and I pray today, we need to ponder the importance of a holy space. Ever since the beginning, the church has set apart places for sacred worship, so that we can come in out of the storm, so that we can come in out of the world for a few minutes to be renewed and refreshed, so that we can come in from the outside and be blessed. That's why when we come to church, it should be something we look forward to, something we long for, to come and be with God and to experience that grace. But if we come in with our burdens and we never really approach God, if we keep our minds away from God and focused on our burdens, we will never be refreshed. We need to come and offer it to God. We need to come and say to the Lord, I can't do this alone. So as you and I pray today, we need to pray about praying. We need to ask ourselves and challenge ourselves, do we get enough quiet time? Do we come to a sacred space and allow God to refresh us? Do we come to a sacred space and let the world out there? How many of us are sitting here right now thinking about donuts?